If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I got my special cap on, which I only bring out for the big events.
Yes, the punting cap.
Yeah. So, Everest, Caulfield Cup. Did you see the barrier draws for both of them?
I didn't see it live for either. No, it was after the fact. Although my phone was blowing up last night. Man, are you seeing this? A lot of clown emojis, and it didn't make any sense to me until after the fact. A literal circus.
That's what I was going to say. A literal circus. In more ways than one, because I reckon if I'm thinking back to the glorious day of previewing the Caulfield Cup last year, we were watching the barrier draw live. Remember that? Because it was a live stream.
That's right.
And we were like going order by horse in saddlecloth order, and without a fight, barrier 7 came up. And I was like, bang, there we go.
That's right, yeah.
And it's like, compare that to... Because the Caulfield Cup just basically did the exact same thing except on Tuesday this year.
Yeah.
And Kanga, the MRC bloody... What is he, CEO or
Chairman,
whatever? Chairman, whatever. He's like, basically going like, sorry guys, that's not good enough. But to be fair, I've inherited this recently. So I'm putting my hands up. I'm distancing myself away from this. But I'm like, hey, Kanga, if I remember what the barrier draw was like last year, surely you should kind of know that, bruh.
Yeah. Honeymoon period. Is it officially over already? Oh, look here. I've got a couple of thoughts on it. As a racing enthusiast, you know, I wouldn't say we're a dying breed, but, you know, we're not the biggest industry in the world. And there's a lot of sports in Australia that are a lot bigger than us. I just want to see the barriers as soon as fucking possible. I do. Because I want to know if the horse I'm interested in drew well.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be instant for me. So the whole Yahoo that goes on with the Everest, like a literal circus last night, like I would never watch that.
No.
Because I just want to find out after the fact. For me, it's the equivalent of basically saying, hey, Declan, the barrier draw is coming out at 9 p.m. your time.
Yeah.
And okay, cool. I'm not going to look until then. I don't care about all the Yahoo. But what it is, it's creating an event and it's creating interest and getting eyeballs on horse racing. So ultimately, even if I think the circus thing is a literal circus, I think it's good for racing.
Sure. My counter argument to that is, right, could they have just put out a little trestle table with mini Everest trophies and they have a representative come out and pick one out?
Of course they could have. Of course they could have.
Like they did for the Melbourne Cup after Derby Day last year. And friend of the show, Craig Sneesby of Salino, Zugocha, Solcombe and Shiraz fame, picking out barrier 21 for Shiraz last year.
It wasn't good at the time, but he ran third, which was unbelievable. Yes, because 100%. But at the same time, is 21-year-old Joe Bloggs watching that? No, he's not. Is he watching the circus? Probably not either. But I see what they're trying to do. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I just want to know what fucking barrier my horse that I'm keen on has drawn. I don't care about all the yippee yahoo.
What have they had? They've had they put it onto the Sydney Harbour Bridge, Sydney Opera House, which I think's probably been the best one.
Probably
drones.
Yep.
They had a water show, which was terrible.
Yep.
Last year they had what did they have last year? I kind of forgot about it, but anyway. And then circus.
Yeah,
because they go out on a big boat for Golden Eagle Day. I remember the Colette year. It was like torrential rain. I'm like, it's not safe being out there.
That's not safe. It's not safe.
Anyway.
So, yeah, it doesn't really... To be honest, I don't have any energy to even give a fuck about that.
What about
any energy?
What about what I texted you about yesterday? So, this was a Racing New South Wales tweet, and thank you to Nicholas Scala for sending this through. As a condition of entry for the Sydney Stakes on Saturday, the 19th of October, horses may only be scratched under certain circumstances. Consequently, a horse declared as an acceptor for the Sydney Stakes is not accepted to be declared as an acceptor for any other race on the Randwick program. The exception to this is the emergencies for The Everest and the Kosciuszko, so Arkansas Kid, Quabolis, and Southpaw Tycoon have been declared acceptors for the Sydney Stakes, and they will not be declared for the Silver Eagle. What are your thoughts on that? I thought it was great. A step in the right direction.
Yeah, agreed. Because the big camps put their horses in multiple races across multiple states, and it stifles early betting.
Mm-hmm.
Because where's this horse going to be? I don't know. If you think about it a bit more laterally, it's like not only that horse, it's also every single other pony that's in that race that gets impacted by betting, you know? So
absolutely.
You know, that's my thoughts on it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Now, let's get to some horse racing, unless there was anything that you wanted to bring up.
No, mate, I'm just keen to get into it. There's a lot to get through. So
there is. Now, I've got up on my laptop screen, we are recording on Wednesday evening. Tomorrow's rain, 1 to 10 mil. Friday, 5 to 20. That minimum keeps creeping up. So, and then Saturday, 0 to 3 with a top of 17 degrees. So, bit mild in temperature and a bit of rain around. So, I've been doing it around a soft 6-ish. Just meet him right smack bang in the middle.
Yeah. I think so. But as always, drifters, like, keep your powder dry.
Yeah. What's the rush?
There's no rush at all.
Yeah, unless you invested on Sunday, like I did in futures markets. Rail out will be out 3 metres. So let's get to the Caulfield Cup. Group 1, 2,400 metre handicap. Runner by runner preview. Number 1, Calipore. He's been beaten a combined margin of 23 lengths in 3 starts this prep. He's never been outside the top 3, though, in his 3 attempts at the distance, including a Tancred earlier this year.
As an 8-year-old gelding, I never thought Calipore would be the top weight with 55 kilos in a Caulfield Cup, but here we are, drifters.
Troubling, isn't it?
Couldn't possibly have him.
Like, compare this race to the Caulfield Cup of last year. Chalk and cheese.
The year prior to that, Drosso. Durston?
Yeah. And then the local Caulfield Cup of Incentivize.
Yeah. Well, he would have won it pretty much any year. But, yeah, no, don't give him a chance.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Number 2, Buckaroo. He's absolutely flying. He's a different horse since the post-gelding operation. He's only running at the distance. He ran a 5th in the Tancred behind Calipore. So unsure how he really likes this ground, but he's also never been this version of Buckaroo as well. So, you know, he got through it well enough. Soft 6 against Via Sistina. 2nd in the tank. What was that? The Turnbull.
I think he's rightful favourite. I'm happy. He's in my numbers, but I'm happy to take him on. Yes, he is a different horse, but there still has to be a query around the 2,400 metres. What do you think?
Same. I'm happy to take him on as well, just because I think there's more elite stayers in the field.
Plus $4.20 in a Caulfield Cup is short.
It is.
So happy to take him on.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3, Circle of Fire. He's been defeated by a combined margin of 28 lengths in his 2 starts this prep. He needs further.
Circle of Fire is a genuine stayer, and he definitely needs further. I tell you what, I don't know what price he is in Melbourne Cups at the moment, but he was the early favourite before the spring started. If he storms home into 5th or 6th here, he won't be the price that he is now in Melbourne Cup futures. I'll tell you that much for free. Well,
I would like to compare his price in future Melbourne Cup markets against the price of Warp Speed, this Japanese runner. So he's a get-back and run-on type of operator, and he's been getting absolutely smoked by the best stayer in Japan, T.O. Royal. His last 5 runs have been over 3,000 metres or longer. I have a feeling this horse is nominated for the Melbourne Cup. I think this is a prep run in the direction to the Melbourne Cup. Now, very good international judge who we both love, Mick Sharkey of RSN fame and Leneva Park fame. says that this horse is just as good and has a very similar profile to Admire Rakti. So that horse won a Caulfield Cup and then had a heart attack in the Melbourne Cup and unfortunately perished. So that's the type of form references that we're dealing with, and you're getting $26.
Absolutely. With all these Japanese horses, there's got to be a query when it's a soft deck, but at the same time, they're better than us.
Yeah.
So it couldn't matter. I'm happy to let him go through to the keeper in this race, but he is going to get a lot of consideration for the Melbourne Cup.
Absolutely. Now, number 5, Hueta. He was outstanding first up. He regressed really badly second up though.
He really did. He really did.
I don't know what Hueta is going to rock up here, because I was actually surprised looking through his profile. He actually hasn't run at this distance in Australia, which he's been here for a few seasons. I would have just assumed that he would have.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't give him any consideration at all, Hueta.
Yeah, no, I'll kind of scroll past.
He'll probably be Richo's roughie, though. He loves his horse.
He will. He will. Well, to be fair, Richo could chuck Warmonger as double figures at $15.
He's the one at odds that I'm all over like a rash.
Yeah.
I think people, after that Maccabi Diva run first up, he was enormous. And yeah, he flattened out a little bit second up, but he's a stayer resuming, so that happens all the time. And also, in that first race, he had Prodigy. So that was therefore a truly run mile race, which would have suited Warmonger to a T. This has always been the target. I'm not too concerned about gate 16. We've seen horses win from all over in the Caulfield Cup. So that's not really that a concern for me. And if anything, it allows Mickey D to really wind him up, because I think this horse needs some winding up. So he's absolutely a winning chance for me, and I think he's a stupid price.
Yeah. What you said. Like that. What's 10.5 lengths he won the Queensland Derby by?
Yeah, so he, again, we're not all about ratings. We're just casual punters just having a crack, right? But what he ran in the Queensland Derby was like what Antino did on the weekend in the two-rack. Like they're figures you just don't really see. So if he can get anywhere near that, he's going to be incredibly hard to beat.
Like a handful of horses in the country can run that figure.
Exactly, yeah.
He's one of them.
And I loved Mick Price came out this week and said, we're going to ride him more positively, like Blake rode him in the Queensland Derby. And I think you can, because you can get this guy revving 1,000 metres out.
I think he's a 2-miler. I think he has a superior set of lungs on him.
If you can get Cups double prices at the moment, and if there's a horse that you're keen on in a Cups double, he's the one, and it's something ridiculous like 50 or 100 to 1. I think 100 to 1 actually. I think he's the sort of horse who's capable of doing that.
Yeah, agreed. Now, if there's a case to be made against Warmonger, and I'm just a casual observer here, only one horse has actually won since the Queensland Derby out of that field. So was it a decent quality of race? The thing is, he beat him by 10 and a half. He beat him by
10 and a half.
So literally he was in a race of his own. So now, Elias, barrier 21 stinks for this horse, especially because they changed the plan and came here, because he's absolutely flying.
He'll look in it for a long way, Elias. I just think a few too many of these will run over the top of him late. I'm happy to take him on it. And, that's not too much of a statement. He's $7, but he's not in my numbers.
Yeah, I'm risking him too. How many times, we don't really see it that often, where they change the target and it's like mid-prep, they change the target, like the grand final, and how many times does it actually come off?
Anecdotally, not often.
Yeah.
Not often. So, no, I'm happy to risk Elias in my numbers, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, Land Legend. Metrop winner. I think the Metrop form might stand up here.
Yeah.
I think Zach Purton on at 53 kegs. Barrier 1, which I actually don't think will be a negative for him. I think if he kicks up, he led in the St. Ledger last year. And I think he nearly still went through the fence that day. He cannot run straight this horse.
No, he can't. He can't. Oh, he's got a stack of improvement to come, though.
Yeah.
You'd think. Zach Purton, gate 1, he's in my numbers, because you're right. I think the horse I'm probably most keen on is coming out of the same race, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, just put my cards on the table there.
Yeah. Well, I think, the rail, if he is going to run straight, it's going to be on the rail. So I think...
And that'll allow him to settle, you think, as well, in the run?
You'd hope so. But that St. Ledger run, he literally nearly went through it.
It's a small concern.
Yeah. So if he can figure it out, like if he's doing that and still winning races, like he's a sensational chance.
Yeah.
Now, let me read some stuff about this next horse, number 9, Young Werter. He's running really, really well. There's a severe asterisk against his name. 11 starts at Group 1 level for no wins. 8 starts at Group 2 level for no wins. 5 starts at Group 3 level for no wins. 3 starts at listed level for no wins. This, last time I checked, this is not a benchmark 100 race, with all due respect.
No, it's not. He has been going super, to be fair, Young Werter, but he's not at this level. No. And all the evidence would suggest that.
Mm-hmm. Now, this next horse, I think, is one of the best roughies in the race, number 10, Duke de Sessa. He's been really, really consistent. So, got beaten by Young Werter early this prep over the 2,000 metres on a good track. Was beaten 5 lengths by, like everyone else, by Buckaroo in the Underwood. Then he showed something in that Turnbull on a soft track, which, if you listen to Richo, I guarantee you this will be Richo's rough. He goes on about this horse every single time it runs around. But his stats at the distance and his form at the distance, both here and overseas, is not too bad. So I think I'm going to try and have to squeeze him into my numbers, Duke de Sessa. At $18, barrier 6... 52 kilos, I think he's going to run super.
Absolutely a chance. And that trainer with a horse like this over these type of distances, you've got to respect them.
Absolutely. Now, Knight's Choice, another one. Beaten 20 lengths in his last 2 runs. What are these horses doing here? Honestly, I would prefer a field of 12 of genuine winning chances.
Absolutely. So would I. The great game. Yeah, definitely not a... I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. Yeah. I'd be shocked. So, we're just going to leave Knight's Choice alone.
Now, in an alternative universe, if this rain does miss, our guy Muramasa is a stupid price.
He's an absolutely absurd price.
At 23s, but if there's a drop of rain, if there's a sniff of rain in the air, he's got none.
Yeah, he hates it. So, unfortunately, our guy Muramasa, I wouldn't be surprised if he scratched if he gets too wet.
Yeah. Buckets retains the ride, gets the ride back. Where's Buckets been?
He's been over in Singapore because racing is shut down in that jurisdiction.
Farley.
Yes, that should send shivers down the spine of every administrator in Australia. I'll tell you that much for free. Mm-hmm. But he's back, Buckets.
Yeah, and he gets the best out of this horse.
He does.
Yeah,
he really does.
I reckon it'd be like riding a bike. Hopping on Muramasa. He's like, oh, g'day, mate. How are you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Zardozi's a winning chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With Andrea Adzeni.
Yes, Andrea's not on Circle of Fire this time. He's been flowing in to ride Zardozi at the request of Godolphin, and when Godolphin calls, you answer the phone. She was brilliant in the Metrop. The market loved her, and I said to you before the race, I was like, how's this go for Zardozi? Don't really understand it. Oh, she was my top selection, but it was purely because nothing else in the race really inspired me, and I thought we'd see a different horse getting out to 2,400 metres. And I saw exactly what I wanted to see. She had no luck. She didn't settle in the run. She got bumped on the turn, and she still nearly won. She's meeting Land Legend here better at the weights. She's going Melbourne way, which I think probably adds another length to her based on what we've seen of her so far. Gets an incredible jock on who's one of those jockeys who I think if she's going to settle in the run, the Italian stallion. Do you reckon he knows Q Tempesta? He's the guy. 51 kilos. I think gate 12's perfect for her because she'll settle probably midfield and can peel out. So she's my top selection. Zardozi, bit of a range she'll love too. I think $8 is a price I'll certainly be willing to take.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
No notes. On top selection as well. Clearly, from what I was saying on Sunday. I'm invested already.
Put your money where your fucking mouth is,
Yeah.
drifters. Follow our lead, please.
Now, this next horse. To be honest, Coco Sun, don't really care about you. We're more involved with the jockey here.
T10! Get a text through from my favourite punter in the world, just saying like, are my eyes painted on, or am I believing what am I seeing? Chris Teaton, Sha Tin's finest, Hong Kong's finest, is coming over to ride Coco Sun, and that's all we're really interested in.
Yeah.
And J-Mac, our friend, we know who his on top selection is going to be purely for that reason. He does not give a shit otherwise.
Yeah, he loves T10.
Keaton.
Yeah.
I remember when he's like, who's Keaton on? And we're like, who's Keaton? Oh, Teaton.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So, yeah, best of luck for T10 fans with Coco Sun, but she needs to improve significantly. Deny knowledge. All the ratings gurus are frothing over this horse. Probably needed to draw a little bit better, and the cut out of the ground will not help her.
She had the perfect setup and was ridden brilliantly by Mark Zara. We need to find a nickname for him. In the Might and Power last week, more pressure up front here. With all due respect, downgrade and jockey, distance more of a query, deck more of a query. You get $11 to find out. I think she was a much bigger price this time last week for Caulfield Cup futures. So if you got some of that, well done. You're definitely going to get a run for your money, but no, I can't have her.
Nick Ashman of, I don't know, racing analyst fame.
The Beaten Favourites, his podcast.
Yeah. So he put out this horse at 200 to 1 for the Caulfield Cup and at $50 to place. So he's a
Jam.
Yeah, he's a good judge. And that that was weeks ago. Like that was months ago that he did that. So
There's still life in the futures markets, evidently. Well done. That's unreal.
So now Valiant King. This horse ran around in the Caulfield Cup at $10 last year. 70 to 1 this year with the good people at Neds. Barry 18. Teo Nugent on for Chris Waller.
Yeah, interesting. I think he'll run well, this horse. He's an enormous price. He's one who's also going to be going to a Melbourne Cup, you would assume. But I haven't seen enough from him this prep, but he's a genuine stayer. So watch for him to be running on well, and if he does, he's a definite chance in the Cup.
Yeah. Positivity, nice draw for her. She's in good form. I think she'll finish in the top half of the field, but I don't have her as a winning chance.
Oh, she did $31 pop, and I think that reflects her chances.
Yeah. Now you say the next one.
Saturday.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to say it, because I'm Australian and like everything else is way too complex.
Good form behind Jan Bruegel.
Jan Bruegel.
Has the form around that horse and City of Troy. Now, that horse won an Epsom Derby last year, didn't he?
City of Troy.
Or this year?
This year. City of Troy, there's lays claims to being the best horse in the world at the moment. So that's some elite form.
Yeah, but if you kind of look past the curtain here, he was had SPs of $12 and $51 respectively, and was beaten 4 to 7.5 lengths for both horses. So we see these types come over here, and they rarely line up in the contests like this.
Yes, I'd agree with that. I think with a horse like this, the price is reflective of the fact that these Northern Hemisphere 3-year-olds have come here and RNP'd before. But I think from a credential perspective, yeah, he appears to have that profile, but I just don't know enough about him to have a bet. There's a big enough price if you're interested, Drifters, and he's drawn well, but no thanks.
Of the two internationals, and I'm classifying Valiant King as a local now, but Warp Speed's definitely the one that I would be choosing over the other horse, and you're getting a better price as well. Let's not bother with the emergencies.
No.
Frankly, disgusting emergencies. All right. How'd you find him?
Yeah, Zardozi on top for me. I'm happy to stick with her after that Metrop run. I can just see this race bringing the best out of her. Melbourne way of going is probably the thing with it, combined with a wet deck that really, really gets me interested. But I tell you what, Warmonger is a close second pick, and the price can afford, for me to have a spec on both of them. 2-bet Terry. So they're clearly the two for me. I think Buckaroo's going to run a drum. Like you can't disrespect the form coming out of the Turnbull. He's a different horse with a Magic Man on. He draws absolutely perfectly, and Chris Waller can win a big race. And Land Legend, for all the reasons I outlined, reading through the race, they're my top 4.
Yeah, Zardozi on top for me, kind of outlined on Sunday. But if you didn't listen, I just think pretty much everything you said, actually. Wet deck, Melbourne leg, 2,400 metres. I think she's just such a superior stayer, has a massive engine on her. I think she'll run super at 51 kilos and barrier 12, elite jockey. Too many ticks to keep count. Land Legend in for second. I think the Metro form this year is actually going to hold up. It's going to hold up. And then, I have Warmonger in for third. Good luck to Mickey Blue Eyes of RSN fame. And then, I'm chucking Duke DeCessor in for fourth. No disrespect to Buckaroo, but you're too short, bruh.
He is short.
Too bloody short. All right. That's the first runner by runner. Now we have a certain mountain to climb. An Everest field. Barrier draw, we've had some theatre. Wait till you hear our thoughts about this race. That's the real theatre. 1,200 metres. Group 1, Way for Age. First running at Group 1 level. Good to see. Now, number 1, I Wish I Win. Barrier 9, Luke Nolan.
That's a perfect draw for him, I think.
Yeah.
I think he would have wanted anything between 6 and 10. I Wish I Win. He would have won last year if he didn't draw Gate 1. In retrospect. So this way he can do what he did in the TJ, and he can peel out and absolutely storm home. Bit of a Goldilocks, this horse. His record reads super with $12.1 million worth of prize money. But he hasn't won very often in the since his TJ win. He always runs super, he always storms home, because that's what you're going to get out of I Wish I Win.
He won in the Kingsford Smith Cup.
He did. Absolutely, he's a winning chance. I'm probably going to say that about most of these horses, just as an FYI. I coined this theory early days about him, that he's a much better horse Sydney way of going. He's going to need to be much, much better to win this, based on his first 2 tune-up runs this prep. So yeah, he's a winning chance, but I'm risking him.
Yeah, so am I. $6.50's getting borderline interesting, though. That's a bigger price than I expected. What is he come race time? Race time? Yeah. Am I reading this right? Jolly Star's the favourite right now?
Yeah, she is.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. So, yeah, pretty much everything that you said, but I haven't been as taken by his first 2 runs as I have been previously.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But is Moonee Valley his track?
It's not.
Yeah.
The thing with him as well is, though, remember last year his prep leading into this was a bit unique. I think he ran first up in a CF4.
Yeah.
And then maybe he didn't run at all until the actual Everest, maybe. I can't quite remember, but this year's been different. He's had a much better preparation leading into the race, I think. But I still, particularly in that Manicato, would have wanted to have seen more from him. But he wouldn't shock at all.
Number 2, Giga Kick. Barrier 3, Mark Zora on board. So I'm assuming J-Max just gone like, this horse is going no good. Get me on Jolly Star.
Yes, and that's telling. The writing was on the wall for this horse last start. He had a charmed run, had every single right to run over the top of them. Bella Nipotina ran so much better, and she had no right to in that race, based on what I saw. He hasn't come back the same horse, unfortunately, and it pains me to say it. I'd be shocked if he won this race.
Shocked?
I'd be shocked.
Wow.
He hasn't come back the same horse. He'd have to improve lengths on what he did last start, and I don't think he can get that much improvement out of a horse in a couple of weeks.
Toby Prineus. Giga Kick will piss this in. He's been foxing. Trent Mathers, Giga. Paul Zedman, Giga Kick. So a few of the drifters are on Giga Kick.
Look, he's got the man for the job. Mark Zara. Needed to see more from him.
That's a fair enough statement, man. I have to. He's not near my numbers.
No,
have to see it, and yeah, like I wouldn't be completely shocked. He's drawn the right barrier. He'll probably get one of the runs of the race, but he's kind of crumbled under the pressure so far. Now, Joe Pride of Kicking Jockeys Off Horses fame.
Can't draw a gate fame, Joe Pride.
No, but he has confirmed for both this horse and Think About It, they are going forward in these races. So
what Private Eye's going to be hung out to dry 4 wide then?
He's done that in 2 Everest before and run super.
He has. Probably, to be honest, it's probably bring the best out of him.
Yeah, he's a miler, mate. So we've been over this. We've been over this.
We have been over this.
So probably hasn't shown what he has in the lead up to other contests. And I think the one thing we didn't do is look at the forecast. There's currently a heavy 8 at Randwick. So I think there's a bit of rain around. So I think there's going to be a cutout, but it's a nice sunny day.
I think we'll be playing on a soft deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to be heavy.
No.
Yeah.
So I've kind of done it for about the same, about soft 6.
Yeah.
So I think that's okay for Private Eye, but I think the stable have said in the past he needs a good track to show his best, and his profile would suggest that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to risk him.
Same.
Bella Nipotina likes some cutout though.
She does. Horror draw for her. Where do you take her? What if she missed the jump again? She goes straight back anyway.
I think what you do, because Private Eye's 2 and to the inside, you just follow him across 3 wide line, and she might run past him and blow him away by a couple lengths.
Yeah, absolutely. She you know what? She hasn't found her way into my numbers. Such is the closeness of this race, Bella Nips, and
fascinating.
And I thought it immediately post that she was unlucky, but immediately post that is it the Premier Stakes that that the Bellas and the Gigas and the Think About It's were in, and that Airman one, Marzu ran super. Love to see that. Can't begin to describe how much I love to see that. We'll be talking about him later.
Yeah.
A bit of forewarning. Even though she was unlucky, I watched that race and I was like, that was so dross. It was dross, mate.
As in the quality of the race?
It just stinky poo-poo watching that race. So for me, I've got to rule out some of these horses somehow. I've got to rule out that race. So any horse that partook in that race and finds themselves here, got to take a stand against. I'm not saying she can't win, drifters.
No.
Fucking get your undies out of your asshole. But I've got to risk it.
I Am Me. Hot Nash back on. Barrier 1. Big winner from the barrier draw. Last time this horse ran on a rain-affected ground was in June 2022 and was beaten 7.5 lengths from Passive Aggressive.
That's a stat. She's not in my numbers.
No.
But she'll be in front of a long way.
Yeah. I honestly think she likes to feel her bones rattle. She likes it like a firm track.
Plus vetted.
Was she?
This week or last week? Yeah, she had a bit of blood in one of her nostrils.
I did see that actually.
So something like that comes up, and I couldn't, not in a race like this.
Yeah, not for an elite. Steffi Magnetica. Barrier 6.
She's one of the big winners.
X Factor
from the barrier draw. Absolute X Factor. She's the one at double figures that I think should not be double figures. The most. If that makes sense. Absolutely wouldn't shock me.
No way.
Steffi Magnetica. That slashing return.
Like, how much upside does she have? And she's already won a Stradbroke.
Absolutely. And as we know, the Stradbroke form is always elite.
Chef's kiss.
Always elite. So she's absolutely a winning chance in this race.
Sunshine in Paris, barrier 8 with Tommy Berry on.
If we're playing on anything soft 6 and worse, couldn't possibly. Because I think she's good enough to win a lot of races on a heavy soft deck. But I think to win this race, it needs to be a soft 5 or better. So she's an interesting one. I think if we are playing on a soft 5, would not be surprised if she firms up in the market. I wouldn't be surprised if she firms up anyway, because if Jolly Star's favourite or close to it, some people are going to be like, huh? This thing's double the price. I'll have some on that.
Yeah.
She wouldn't shock Sunshine in Paris, but she's not in my numbers because I'm thinking we're going to be soft 7.
Yeah, she is in my numbers. I think. What do I think? That return was as good as you'd ever hope to see.
From a horse looking like that.
She was fat.
Hairy.
She was hairy. But she's going to look sensational on the weekend. Bikini wax. She's going to
be ready to go.
Yeah, she's going to be in a bikini. She's going to be looking sensational. Like, this horse has only been out of the top 3 twice. And that was in a 4th and 5th. Like, she never runs a bad race.
She's a super horse, mate. I've got a lot of time for Sunshine in Paris. Yeah. A lot of time for her.
Now, race favourite, number 8, Jolly Star, J-Mac on, barrier 4. Concern for me is she's barely seen rain-affected ground.
She has barely seen rain-affected ground, mate. She's barely seen the racetrack.
Yeah, that's a great point by you.
So does not bother me in the slightest. Actually, in fact, her second start, she lost to Facile on a soft 5. I think you can read into that what you would like to. Drifters. I keep thinking about her resuming run. And I keep thinking about that, and I keep thinking to myself, holy shit, if she repeats that or she improves on it, she wins this race. Gets a significant jockey upgrade. A significant jockey upgrade. Gets the J-Mac first up, gets the K-Mac second up, then gets the J-Mac back third up. He was like, see you, Giga, a previous winner of the Everest, so he could jump on board this mare. Gate 4, she is going to get the run of the race. Chris Waller horses, third up after being flat second up. Would love to see some data because this is completely anecdotal. We saw it with Via Sistina in the Turnbull Stakes. I think you're going to see it again with this horse. She's my on toppy, Jolly Star. And I'm actually so much more confident than what I thought I would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, so much more confident. Wish I had a nibble at the double figures she was post her losing last start. But I think she's going to run an absolute blinder. And I think irrespective of the deck, she will. So, and wouldn't it just be like J-Mac to raise the bat, 100 Group 1s, in the first ever running of a Group 1 Everest for a Chris Waller horse in silks like that? Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Storytelling. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. What do I have her? Yeah, if it's soft 6 or worse, I'm happy to kind of leave her out of my numbers. Just because I haven't seen it yet.
She's a Z-Star. They can get through it. But doesn't mean every single one can.
Exactly right. So, Growing Empire, barrier 7. Kieran on. Kieran's running? He's riding fantastically.
He is. I couldn't fit him in my numbers, Growing Empire. I couldn't fit him in.
He's given you the ick, hasn't he? That last 100 in the Manicato?
A little bit. A little bit.
At this level?
Yeah, a little bit. Would he have learned a stack from that? Absolutely. Does he have the tactical speed to be in the first 3 or 4 here? Absolutely. Is there a lot of pressure up front in this race? I can't see a stack of it. But I can see a bit of speed drawn out, trying to jostle him for the 1-1, he wouldn't shock me, but I couldn't fit him in my numbers.
And this we see this every year, but it's probably something that we haven't really highlighted that often. But given what the weight for age scale, 3-year-olds, as soon as they get older, like this, because this race lands in October, like the Manicato, he had 52 kilos. He has 53 here, so he goes up. So I wish I win gets a kilo off this horse as well. Don't forget that.
That'll be missed by a lot of people, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And you could say the exact same thing about Traffic Warden.
You could.
But this is the first time he's been up against this lot. And he was super.
He's the colt who could explode in this race.
Yeah.
He could explode.
Yeah.
He could just put up a number where you're just like, huh? Like a yes. Soft deck won't worry him. He's drawn perfectly. J-Car on. She's coming back with a vengeance, J-Car.
Yeah.
Clear second selection.
Yeah.
After Jolly Star. He's something about this horse.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Who had the better first up run? Jolly Star or Traffic Warden?
Oof. I think Jolly Star did. He ain't too far behind. Ran super in the Golden Rose. And I think James Cummings, he crosses me as a guy that you would hate to play against in poker.
Oh, mate. Imagine playing a game of chess against him.
Keeps his cards very close to his chest, that man. This has been the target all along for this horse.
Absolutely.
All along. And the fact that it's got Group 1 status now, he's just thought, let's have me some of that. And I think with that Golden Rose result, he was probably looking at that being like, geez, that was a terrific lead-up run for my horse who ran second into his grand final, the Everest.
And, if this is the other thing for IME, I think she's a bit more of a 1,100 metre horse. I think she's more dynamic at 1,100 metres than 1,200 metres. Now, you might be asking me, hey, we were just talking about Traffic Warden. Why did you go back to that horse? Because I think a 1,400 metre horse is actually really well suited in the Everest.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Giga Kick. Irish on Winds runs super in this race.
Nature Strip barely held on.
Red Zell, swimmer. And,
He's a swimmer.
And then he was racing the best he's ever raced.
Yeah. Yes. Came back from Golden Rose where he beat everyone except for Bivouac. And that horse was a freak. And exceeding third. What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah. So
he's absolutely a winning chance.
So Traffic Warden on top selection for me. If we've been saying this is a changing of the guard for our sprinting ranks, I want to be with the up and comers. Storm Boy, barrier 5. Shocked he's even here.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. Very surprised. But you know what? He wouldn't shock me. He's not in my numbers. But he wouldn't shock me. You're talking about, the point you made was the point I was going to make about this horse though. As a 3-year-old colt, we were talking about, is he going to go to the Guineas or the Everest? And the two of us were like, he looks like a sprinter to me. Not only does he look like a sprinter, this guy looks like a 1,000-metre horse. And we saw first up, he loved that. He loved the just going to the front and just saying, catch me if you can, brah. I reckon he could be an IME style, 1,000 to 1,100 metres, and this race might find him out a little bit. He ran super in the Golden Rose. He did, over 1,400 metres, but that's against your own age group. This is completely different gravy. He's drawn well though. I think he'll look in it for a very long time. He wouldn't shock me, Storm Boy, but he's not in my numbers.
Yeah, I risked him as well. So, that first up run, he's defeated Mayfair and Tropicus. I reckon they might have finished last and second last in the Guineas.
Yeah, Mayfair was definitely last.
Yeah, so Lady Camelot, $51, barrier 11, Rachel King, likely to go forward and set a tempo as Waterhouse bot horses do. You can have her. And then the emergencies. So, Traffic Warden on top for me. And then I have some mares fill in the placing. So I have Sunshine in Paris, Steffi Magnetica, and Bella Nipotina. into 4th.
Bella Nips. Jolly Star on top for me. Traffic Warden into 2nd. I wish I win. Originally, I wasn't liking him for this race, but I just can just see him running a blinder. Never doubt Peter Moody and Cat Common. And Steffi Magnetica into 4th for me. There's a point I wanted to make that we haven't made, and I thought we'd have a few of these in our numbers, but no filly or mare has ever run top 3 in the Everest. Do you think that means anything, or do you just think it's had such a short lifetime, it's just for whatever reason, that's just the way it is?
We've had some absolute champion sprinters since the Everest has been inducted. We've had Red Zell with Vega Magic and Brave Smash, and then Chautauqua is into 4th. And then the second year, Red Zell and Santa Ana Lane ran that year. Up and coming colt, yes, against Santa Ana Lane and Nature Strip and those what have you. Nature Strip, Elite, against like these types. Like, it's just been the way it is.
And last year, like, it was a close bunch. Think about it. Private Eye, can't remember who ran 3rd. Oh, no, I wish I ran 2nd. Private Eye 3rd, and then In Secret probably could have won that race if she got a better run, bit more luck in transit. So yeah, I agree. I think, like, if this was around when Black Caviar was going around, she would have won it 3 years in a row, like in a canter. So I think you can't really read into that, but it'll be interesting if it happens again this year, particularly with the quality of the fillies and mares.
And Kieran Maher's first ever time with a runner.
Yeah, bizarre too. It's just weird how it's all worked out.
And he has 3 of them. All right. We are 48 minutes in, and we have we've gone through 2 races. So let's get through the rest of these cards.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Time flies, hey. Now, let's go back to Caulfield. Race 2, the Gothic States, listed for the fillies, set weights and penalties. Any firm opinions here? I thought Stolly Bolly could run well. She won against that inferior opposition when we were there at Moonee Valley.
Stolly Bolly?
Oh, apologies. Oh, am I... Sorry, I might be looking at the wrong race here. I thought it was for the fillies. Maybe it's not.
Race 2?
It's not for the fillies. Apologies.
That's right.
No, there's no fillies in this race.
These things
it's all colts. Oh, there's one. Lovely cut. Anyway.
The 2 for me is Stolly Bolly and Reserve Bank. Stolly Bolly I thought was going to run last week or the week before in Sydney, but it was scratched. I've got a high opinion of this horse. And Reserve Bank I was on last start and just found one better in first settler. I think it's a smarty though. So they're the 2 for me. I'm probably leaning towards Stolly Bolly due to the price.
If the rain does miss, our guy Bodyguard, who's a listener of the podcast...
He's a listener of the podcast.
He could feature with Joe Moreira on board. Significant jockey booking. But let's get to the Caulfield Classic. So I have a stat about this race. The last winner of the Caulfield Classic to go on to win the Victoria Derby was Polanski in 2013.
Jeez, that's a stat.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often.
Very even bunch. Only 8 horses have accepted for this race, which I thought was troubling. Keeneland is the rifle favourite. Barrier 2 should go forward, control this out front.
Yeah, he'll be hard to beat. I do have a ticket for Scary in the Derby at like 20s or something like that. So I would like to see Scary run well here. He had the fastest last 600 metres of the race last start. He's by shocking. He's going to enjoy getting out over further. So I'll probably have a spec at him, just speaking out of my pocket.
Tell you what, Danny O'Brien has a really nice set of 3-year-old staying types for the boys and the girls. And this Politely Done was in the at the Victoria Derby preview at Flemington. So ran 3rd, luckless, was bumped, sneaking through a gap, and ran super into 3rd. Went to Ballarat last start in a maiden. Spanked him by 3.5 lengths with 3 wide no cover over 2,000 metres. So I think this horse is an out-and-out stayer. Like, you'll see the best of him. So I think he can definitely win this. But heading towards a Derby, he's a winning chance. Ethereal Stakes, 2,000 metres for the fillies, basically. Now, the other one for Danny O'Brien, Hurry Curry. Now, she won the Oaks preview, and she was ultra impressive.
She was good, yeah. I watched that race, actually, and she was definitely the one who was clearly a cut above. Inevitable Truth, classic Johnny Sargent, with a with an Oaks filly who's yet to win. She's one to keep an eye on at a big price at 13s. But no, Harry Curry looks a little smarty, I think. Too Darn Discreet comes out of that race where it was effectively raining cats and dogs at Flemington last start. So you just got to question the form out of that race, I guess.
Yeah, and virtually equal favourite, Killcare Beach Girl, like same race. And that can kind of ruin your prep almost when it's like that. So I'm happy to take Harry Curry, who was so impressive. Now, the Alinghi Stakes, 1,100 metres listed for the fillies and mares, set weights and penalties. I thought this was tough, but Itmus is a mare on the rise.
Look who she's out of.
Yeah, Scholes.
That's where my money's going. But she actually is a mare on the rise. Like, she looks like a smarty. Tell you what, if she's anything like her mother, you don't want it too soft. You don't want it too soft for Isthmus. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. What about Gummy Gumdrops?
Gummy Gumdrops just got home for 5th for you last start. Need to see more from her.
Yeah.
And, you know, if she did that at Moonee Valley where the scene of the crime was, and you come into Caulfield, you got to question mark that.
Yep. 1,000 guineas prelude, 1,400 metres Group 2 for the fillies, set weights and penalties. Now, Sam Friedman was on RSN during the week. He said that of his two in this race, being Amina and Matisse, bet on Amina for this race and bet on bet on Matisse in the 1,000 guineas. I'm going to disregard that and I'm going to have Matisse on top. So I saw enough from her when I was very keen on her at Moonee Valley, got too far back, and Bellatrix Star is just too... If I'm considering that horse a winning chance in a Coolmore, I think it's a damn good form reference. She's only seen the soft ground once, but that was up here in Doomben, and she won very convincingly, so I think she might get through it if it is that way.
Absolutely. GG's Miss Truth, I was on last start behind Bellatrix Star, and we've seen what Bellatrix Star has done since then, so sticky gate, but happy to stick with her.
All right, the Millennium Sprint, race 7, 1,000 metres Group 2 for the to handicap grade. Estrella comes back to a suitable distance in suitable grade. No way this horse was ever going to an Everest. Hayasugi was in the noms for this race, and they didn't go here, so I'm big grade up for a Coolmore for that horse now. I don't know where she's at. Need to get some more information before.
Must be something wrong with her. I didn't mind Raymond Magnerio in this race.
Big Ray.
Yeah, Big Ray. Got form around Jimmy Starr. It's just the weight swing on Estrella, like 59 kilos she's got to lug. 1,000 metres, yeah. But coming back from the Manikato, she had the slowest last 200 or 400 or something like that in that race. So not only is she clearly not a 1,200 metre horse, I don't know if she's going as well this prep. So I don't know if I have the confidence to be on her, and she's definitely one of mine. But I think I like Ray Magnerio in this race, lightly weighted.
Yeah, I was keen to take on Estrella as well. She's never really been one of mine. But what about Sans Doot?
Sans Doot,
like probably more of a Flemington gal. I could see this horse winning the last Furphy Sprint on Derby Day.
Absolutely. And I said to you during the week, these Silks are still underrated over here, and they're absolutely airborne.
Yeah.
They won the Seymour Cup on Sunday with Midnight Blue, 23 to 1. Oh. Bloody 8-year-old, so you think, Geldy.
I know. And last 12 months for this horse, 9 starts, 4 wins, 1 second, 2/3. And you get 750. Like, I don't know. I think she's worth a play. She gets, quick maths, 3.5 kilos off Estrella as well. So I'm happy to have a play there. Now, race 8 is the Tristar Stakes, 1,400 metres Group 2 for the mares, set weights penalties. I think the trifecta in this race is going to be the same from the Rose of Kingston. So Revolutionary Miss, Skybird, and Miss Aria.
I wish these horses would separate themselves because I'd back all three of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stop running against each other.
Let's just have a trifecta then.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what. Skybird's actually known for the Silver Eagle as well.
That.
I'm keen to follow her wherever she goes. I think I'll take her this week over Revolutionary Miss. Going to leave Perfect out of my numbers. What was I thinking? Miss Aria, like she can win. The other horse that I was on last start, and she was actually my best of the day, but she did not appreciate the heavy going. And based on her career thus far, she doesn't appreciate it soft going that much either. And that's number 10 running by. She's $15 if the rain somehow misses.
Yeah.
Caulfield, she's going to have some in mind because look at her record there. Dog shit Johnny on, unfortunately. With respect.
With the greatest respect. Because, yeah, Revolutionary Miss only goes up half a kilo from that win as well. And I think she gets better into a prep. She's just bomb-proof.
Yep.
As a 5-year-old mare.
Yep, I just wish they'd separate themselves because I bet on all of them.
Yeah. She did get the perfect draw last start. So she draws out and Miss Aria drew out as well. So I'll probably have Miss Aria on top. She got me out of a hole that day. So now the Moonga, race 10.
Moonga? Is it Moonga?
No.
Or is it Moonga?
We had this exact chat last year.
Actually?
Yeah. It's the Moonga. Because Moonga has a U in it.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Richie Moonga.
Yeah.
Now, the Moonga, 1,400 metres, Group 3.
I was wondering why it was called that. I was like, why was it called that? Anyway.
Am I a fool for thinking Pinstripe's a good bet here?
I don't think you're a fool. No. He has had some issues post his win this prep, though. Apparently, like he had something.
He was lame.
Yeah, he was lame. That's right.
Like, yeah, it was a significant fall from grace, like winning a Group 1, then he was beaten 20 lengths.
Yeah. There you go. He can absolutely win Gate 4. He's not giving too much weight to a lot of these, so yeah, I think he can win. Globe's an interesting runner, isn't he?
Yeah, first emergency, he'll probably get a run.
Yeah, he's since this time last year, he's only run once. And that's right. I was on Here to Shock that day that won that race. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so interesting to see how he comes back. But I don't know, Mick Price and Michael Kent, sometimes when a horse goes Australia, he's never really come back, particularly in those silks. Yeah.
Spider Bite.
Mm-hmm. Ayrton.
Yeah. I don't know. Pinstriped or... I keep gravitating back to Aegon for some reason. I don't know. Bit of cutout. He wouldn't absolutely shock, would he?
Oh, he wouldn't shock.
Like, I thought War Machine come up awfully short. $4.50. I thought that was silly. Like, he's coming out benchmark 84 grade.
But what about that starting price profile?
Yeah. You can have it. All right. Let's get to Randwick. Now, race 1 is the St. Ledger Stakes. This is the race that... What was his name? Land Legend won last year.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't run straight. Defeated the likes of, I reckon, Serpentine or Cleveland or something. You know, those sort of silks. I was hoping for a better price for my guy, Allegron. $3.50 is awfully short.
It is short.
Now, he was held up. He was running through the horse in front of him. He didn't really have... He had totally disregard for that horse. And I think Rachel King was on... Yeah, Rachel King was on that day. And she was trying all of her might to try and get him to run another way. And he was really strong once he actually ran in a straight line. So I think he'll be awfully hard to beat.
Happy to bet on Allegron.
Yeah. Now, we're skipping race 2. Let's go to the Reginald Allen Handicap. Group 3 for the fillies. I thought this was possibly the most impossible race of the day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely it is, but when you've got a horse in there called Island Deck,
yeah,
little filly by Kermit Deck, well named, Gate 2, absolutely put him to the sword in its first 2 starts at Kemblos. This is a big step up, but yeah, got to back on.
They're all stepping up here from midweight or provincial grade, and
True.
so is Jorrell Lee. 2 step ups for this horse, coming from Kembla Grange form, over 1,000 metres. That's the other thing. So stepping up 2 furlongs, but has barrier 3, and I think she had 4 trials heading into her first up run. So I think she might be a bit fitter than you think. At 40-1, like, you know, worse shots. The Angst Stakes, 1,600 metres, Group 3 for the mares, set weights and penalties. Interesting little contest here. Hinged. I want to talk about her. Now, she hasn't won for 157 weeks. I completely forgot that she won a Group 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Surround Stakes. Mm-hmm. That was her last win.
Yeah.
25 starts. 25 of them.
She's never going to get a better chance to win a race hinged. She's well weighted here.
Is it that simple?
Oh no, it's not that simple. I'm not backing her, but she's never going to have a better chance to win.
Blake on,
huge jockey booking. I'll talk a bit more about him later. I was on Zlotty's last start, number 13.
Mm.
You can guess why. Ran well. This is a massive step up, but I like the gate. I like that she's lightly raced, so she's got a bit more upside than a lot of these. K-Mac on.
Mm.
Yeah, she's the one for me at $10 with Neds.
Now, this is more a nostalgic bet because I'm thinking back to grand final day. I'm like, what happened? Number 10, Unique Ambition got one at $7.50 for the Sydney Source and myself. Coming from midway grade. Got the day off to an absolute flyer.
We should have known then.
Yeah.
We should have known.
Yeah. So... this is obviously a step up, but she gets quite a couple of 2 kilos off Lekbart, who's a decent horse. But I think Unique Ambition, like she was running in Queensland Oaks, at the end of last prep as well. So I think she's got some talent. Probably just doesn't go out that far. 1,600 meters, perfect. I think she'll run really well at $9. Now, Kosciuszko, set weights penalties, 1,200 meters. I'm shocked that front page is the top weight here. He just rolls up and spanks this lot every single year.
It's funny because he actually does.
Yeah.
He's fresh up here. He's first up, and
he did the exact same thing last year.
He did the exact same thing last year against J-Mac. I think he can absolutely win again, front page, the old fella.
Mm.
I don't mind Boom Talk.
Yeah, good form.
Good form. So I'm sort of leaning that way, but the concern is if it's a soft deck, I think he probably wants it bone dry.
Yeah, there's a horse here that I think he won. Yeah, what did he win? He won the Star Kingdom. But yeah, I am thinking of this horse, Bendy's Boy. Cut out of the ground does definitely help this horse. So he's been racing in the Jolly Star first up race, where he was obviously beaten 9 lengths. In the Concord, where IME just spanked him, beaten 4 lengths. Came last in the Premier Stakes against the Airman. But back to this sort of grade, with cut out of the ground, I think he gains a couple lengths. I think he's going to run super. So, yeah, Bendy's Boy at $14, not the worst. Sydney Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 3, weight for age. Overpass is first emergency in the Everest. He's been trialling well. His stats on soft ground is pretty good. See, just the logical pick.
I think so. I think so for a lot of people. It doesn't mean he is for me. Marzu was super. First up with a bit of cutout. I think Marzu can go back to the well and with Hot Nash on. I think he can win this race at $7.50.
He's been great the last 2 starts.
He has been. Southport Tycoon had some intrigue. I assumed he'd be in the Silver Eagle. And if you're thinking that Growing Empire is he couldn't squeeze into my numbers for an Everest, it's like, well, what's this horse done wrong?
You know where I could back this horse? Is in a champion sprint. Because I think they've shown their cards, right?
Yeah. Well, if they're not racing in the Silver Eagle, then unless because he was an emergency for the Everest, they're sort of thinking, well, let's just keep him at that distance anyway. I'm not sure.
I know it was very close between him and Growing Empire for the year-long slot. Like, it was really, really tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. It is a tricky race. Even Lady Laguna can run well here. Like,
Mumbai Muse?
She's $18, $19 for Mumbai Muse. So I think a lot of people would just be assuming Overpass because he's fresh up record and, Bjorn was campaigning so hard for him to be in the Everest, but this is a tricky race.
Very tricky race. King of Sparta's been trialing the house down. I I backed him in this race last year. I reckon he drew the exact same barrier. And he had absolutely no chance. J-Mac has ridden this horse 5 times for 4 wins in a second. Like, really gets on with him, like, really well. I can't possibly from that barrier. I could back Marzu, King of Sparta, Southport Tycoon, Overpass, and Mumbai Muse really easily. So I'm in a bit of a pretzel with that race.
How's Think About It? It goes from winning the Everest last year to being an $8 pop in the consolation race.
Yeah. So he basically, in 2023, he couldn't draw a bad barrier. This year, he can't draw a good one.
No, he can't.
So it is quite important. The Silver Eagle, 1,300 metres Group 3, set weights and penalties for the 4-year-olds. You'll remember, if you were listening this time last year, I tipped out Straight Acer at 40-1. It ran second, just. But it was good. It was good times. War Machine, dual accepted here, as well as Skybird as well. So we'll know in due time where those horses are heading. But Ostraka is a horse with red hot form. Barrier 15, I don't think really helps, but Blake's on.
No, it doesn't help. Oh, I'm keen to be with Skybird. If she ends up here, I think she's got a big win in her, and she's been running super. So far this prep, Mitch Friedman had a terrific win with attrition last week, and I think he could have another party this week. She's $9, which is a price I'm happy to be on. I can understand why Komachi has come up. Is she favourite $4.40 with Neds?
Yep.
I can understand why she's come up favourite, Komachi.
Mm-hmm.
She can run on a bit.
Yeah, she really can.
V8's the toppy. Would you say he performed below expectations in the Manikato, running 11th of 12? A lot of drifters were on him in the tipping comp.
I'm looking at the comments here. Chase stellarly, just fair. I think that's spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of needed to see more from him, especially from a horse that's never trialled better. And his first up profile was elite. So, yeah, need to see it from him. And barrier 14 doesn't help. I'm praying for a scratching here because I think this well timed for Kerry Parker. I'm trying to do this back to back. A horse out midway grade. I think this horse has a bit of talent. I think he's far, far better than that grade. And rock hard fit, needs to run top 3 here to get a start in the Golden Eagle. Like, I think he'll run really, really well for you.
Do you know what's a sign of that? Guess who sticks on?
Nash.
And I know Nash gets along really well with Kerry Parker, particularly with those silks. But Nash could have ridden a lot of these horses above. And he's like, no, I'm going to stick with that one even though it's the first emergency.
Yep. So I'm praying for a scratching.
And Nash is so hot.
Yeah, he is. There is another horse who's actually been one of yours over the journey, Port Lockroy. I feel like there's a trend here where you're on them early and then you drop off and then I jump on them.
Yeah, that has happened.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying that he's one of mine yet, but I think this horse could, like, he was pretty smart behind Ostraka. Ostraka did have a bundle more weight and he's meeting that horse like worse at the weights. Port Lockroy, that is. So. Now, the King Charles, we didn't even do the King Charles.
We didn't.
Completely forgot about that race.
Forgot about it.
All right. Well, that's good. Prior to Jenny will probably lead this field. Barrier 11, doesn't really matter.
I'd say so.
$2.50 she is. Now, you know how we've been talking about Fangirl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if she's better suited in a sit and sprint or a truly run race, her career peaks have come from really hotly run races. So I've actually got Fangirl on top.
Oh, do you know what I found fascinating? Fangirls in this race, obviously she's always going to be. And then Zoo Gotcha's accepted for this race without a jockey. I think Chris Waller's got an insurance plan. If it becomes a monsoon in Sydney, and if we're playing on a soft 7, I think Fangirl gets scratched. I think J-Mac jumps on Zoo Gotcha because there's no jockey booking for Zooey at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's as far as like tinfoil hat conspiracies go. I think that's quite reasonable.
But I think the opposite will happen if it's a soft 6 or better. Anyway, I'm going to stick fat with my guy, Celestial Legend. I'm going to stick with him.
Wow.
And there's a couple of reasons for that.
Mm-hmm.
Soft deck doesn't bother him. Significant jockey upgrade. Blake Shin. Like, again, Blake Shin could have been on a lot of these horses.
Yeah.
But he's on Celestial Legend. Blinkers on first time. Gets a gate. Toe in the ground. I said last start, I was like, is bro looking for 2,000 metres?
Mm.
Tell you what, there's not many other mile races in the world that are like the Randwick mile with a horse like Pride of Jenny leading to test you out over a mile. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll love that. At $12, like, I'm happy to have a throw at the stomachs because I'm looking at Pride of Jenny at $2.50 with Neds as it stands right now. And I'm seeing that there's other pressure in this race with the likes of Major Beale. And I'm sort of thinking to myself, do I want to dive into that? No. Fangirl queries over a soft deck, is she even going to run? Mm. So as it stands right now, I'm going to have my guy Celestial Legend on top.
So if there is cut out of the ground, we haven't seen this version of Pride of Jenny in those type of conditions. So her last win on rain-affected ground was in September 2022 in a benchmark 90, defeating Mega Mia and Saigon.
Mm.
Who? Like, in this version of Pride of Jenny, I think you can definitely take her on.
I think so. So she's in my numbers because I'd be an idiot for her not to be.
Now, sorry, I will correct myself there. That was me looking at soft stats. So she did run second in the Mackay Diva. That was obviously very heavy ground.
Yeah. So I think she can get through it to a degree in which she could be competitive in this race. But I think at $2.50, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Mm-hmm. I've got Celestial Legend on top from Pride of Jenny and Fangirl. Like, if she is here, she's be stupid not to include her in my numbers. Mm-hmm. And Cheer Wolf for Jack Pride. I think he's going to run a belter.
Yeah. Well, I've got Fangirl on top from Pride of Jenny. I think they duke it out. And then I'm going to put in for third. I'm going to put in Cheer Wolf as well. But I think my guy, Lions Raw's flying at $81. Mark Zara on. Mark on. Yeah, I think you need a 2,000 metre horse at Randwick.
He doesn't give a shit how wet it is, Lions Raw. He'll just trundle along.
Yeah. So
friend of the podcast.
Very big, dear friend, old friend.
Mm.
Yeah.
7 years old now.
Yeah. This podcast has been going on for a while. And mate, I think we've bloody done it.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
Hour 15.
It is a big weekend.
Yeah. And when you're banging on runner by runner, like, yeah, you kind of have to for these races, though.
Jeez, we spoke about a lot of traffic cones today.
But what's the highlight for you? Everest, Caulfield Cup?
Absolutely the Everest. Absolutely. Like, anyone who hates on it, I just don't understand. It's absolutely terrific. It's elite. We talk about it all year.
Yep.
It's one of the few races that actually gives me butterflies before it jumps. Mm-hmm. I love it. What's your highlight?
What would my highlight
be? The Mwanga Stakes?
Yeah, the Mwanga Stakes. I don't know. Is there a midway this weekend?
You have been RPing.
Yeah, I have. Sorry,
the source has been.
The source has been. Oh no, the Big Dance Wildcard might be good. We didn't cover that one.
What's that worth? $3 million?
Yeah, this race, 160 grand. Yeah, that's a bit light on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is light on.
Yeah, Ducas could run really well there. But yeah, no, definitely the Everest, mate. Like, it's going to be cracking. Like, I actually went through and counted, like, who do I think's a winning chance? I've got half the field there.
Yeah, I'm similar.
Yeah, so. All right, if you're having a bet this weekend, do it with the Neds, do it responsibly, check out our profiles, all that good stuff.
Good luck, drifters. Let's go.